Hey everybody, I'm Zaber Wolf,
Hello, and this is Simon.
and well, we're going to talk to you about games. Now, before we get into the games too much, it's the Steam sale. For those
Of
of you,
course it is.
for those of you who don't know what Steam is, get out from under the rock. It's where you buy computer games, good computer games and bad ones. But the Steam summer sale is running all the way through until Monday, the 4th of July, which is when this video will air. So, for all of you in celebrating the 4th of July, have fun and be careful.
Don't blow any fingers off.
On top of that, don't blow anything up.
Yes, that is a very good point. So, what's on the agenda today?
Well, today is Canada Day, so celebrate the loft department above the really great party.
Oh, that's great. So, as it is the Steam Summer Sale, have you gotten any games yet?
I have. I've bought a lot of them, actually. Not as many as you, no doubt, but I have bought quite a few Steam games. So, I currently have Counter-Strike Next on Zombies, which is free. Well, at least the first part of it's free. I have Counter-Strike Go, Counter-Strike Source, Garry's Mod, and Ghostbusters. And I got Counter-Strike Source and Garry's Mod together because I wanted to play Trouble in Terrorist Town, which will be at a later date.
At some point, when I get around to buying it and we get some time to play it. I got Resident Evil 6. As sadly as it was, I got FF10 and 10-2, which wasn't on sale. And then I got Prison Architect. Mainly due to because Sips is playing it right now, and I think it looks extremely entertaining. It's just, I have not played a game like this probably since Roller Coaster Tycoon, if I could talk right now.
Yeah, but it's Sips. He makes everything seem amazing. Trust me, I've bought games because of that guy and then gone, these are really boring. It's just Sips who makes them interesting.
Well, he's the best of the Yogscast, in my opinion.
He is. He's the most interesting. Him and Shin. Nobody else compares.
I agree. So which ones are you going to be playing right now?
Well, I've already started playing Counter-Strike Go, which is really fun. And for those of you who don't know much about me, I'm not an FPS player. I absolutely detest first-person shooters, mainly because there's no rhyme or reason to them. But Counter-Strike Go has been fun so far. Maybe it's because it's better coded than COD. I don't know.
Wow, shots fired. But I have a hard time disagreeing with you there. That franchise has just gone everywhere. It's absolutely nuts.
Yep. One of the things that does come if you buy Counter-Strike Source is you get a guest pass to give to any of your friends, which all of my friends have it except for you, and you're gonna buy it. So
I'll buy it eventually, so don't worry about that.
So I'm gonna give away this guest pass in a later video. You're gonna have to subscribe if you want to keep track of what we're doing, because eventually I'll put out a video about that. But we'll get into that in a bit more detail later. So what games are you going to be playing the most?
Well, I bought Dark Souls. Actually, that's a lie. I've had it for about 3 or 4 years, which I did buy on a Steam Summer Sale, probably 2013 or 2014. I finally decided I need to play it and hopefully beat it, because I'm probably only 2 hours in right now. And I got past the easy part, which I would argue is not as easy as most games would. I did get the DS fix and I got the UI installed, so it makes the game much prettier compared to the broken port that From Software had, or implemented poorly, I should say. Um, let's just say that game is pretty relentless. But again, I'm someone that's kind of a casual player. I mean, I've been playing a lot of Overwatch, so it's quite the departure.
I was gonna say, aren't you more like I've seen your Steam account. Your Rocket League is trailing past mine quite significantly. But you really don't play games like Dark Souls that often, do you?
Not very often. I've kind of been putting it off as much as I have been Lightning Returns, and I've been trying to play that game for over a year now.
Yeah, well, we both know where I stand on that game.
13 is an alright series. It's just not your cup of tea.
No, it's not. I'm a hardcore Final Fantasy player, and I have I gave up after 13. I don't play MMOs, so I've never played 14 and 11 because MMOs bore the crap out of me. And 15 is so far off my radar, I don't think I can even see the blip.
15 is going to be very interesting. Like, I don't necessarily know how well I would praise it at this time. The E3 demo, I believe, was very lackluster, and it seemed very broken just in how the gameplay was set up. But that can always change because it's still a promo.
It is still a promo. Speaking of E3, you got any big games on your list from there?
Oh, there was a bunch of heavy hitters coming out there. The ones that I'm interested in myself, Dishonored 2, which is going to be sick just from the previews that I've seen. I've been playing a lot of Forza Horizon 2, and the sequel has been announced for it, Forza Horizon 3. Instead of in Italy and some of the Europe countries, it's going over to Australia.
Oh.
You're going to be getting some dirt off-roading. Then there's Gears of War 4, which is going to be the first one that's not being made in-house by Epic Studios. It's actually full in-house by Microsoft.
Okay.
The long-awaited mainstream fourth God of War, which is going to be Kratos killing a lot of Norse gods. And he has a son in this game. It's very interesting. Hugely anticipated Last Guardian by Team Ico. What were you saying?
I was going to say, so Kratos is the reason for Ragnarok then.
Very well could be. There is going to be the new Mass Effect Andromeda, which I am so pumped for. I'm not usually a huge BioWare fan since the Icefield Republic games. I do believe the second one was actually made by another studio, but the first one was great.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Recore looks very interesting. I can't wait for more information. Platinum Games Scalebound, and then Respawn's Titanfall 2. I am so pumped for that game, probably out of all the biggest ones. I played probably well over 1,000 hours into Titanfall 1. I am Gen 10. Did not use the forged certificates to get to there. I'm just so pumped.
See, you've just listed off a whole bunch of games that don't even come close to being on my radar, to the point that the only one I know anything about is Mass Effect Andromeda, because I used to be a big Mass Effect player, but I'm more into their Dragon Age series, and God of War. And that's mainly because you never stop talking about it at work.
Oh, that's not true. I talk about more about Final Fantasy than I do God of War.
Which is funny, because you hate Final Fantasy.
Well,
especially 7.
Yeah, we know my feelings about 7. We'll probably go into a little bit later.
Yeah, and we both know where we both stand on the remake. I'm a big Final Fantasy 7 fan, but I'm a papa. I have a full-time job. I'm currently trying to get a business off the ground. I don't have the time, the money, or the inclination to play multiple games being built out of a game which already had a good 100 hours worth of gameplay in it by itself.
There were also some other games. We already talked about Final Fantasy 15. There is Injustice 2 that was announced. I don't know much about the first Injustice game. You know a little bit more because you're into comic books more than me.
Yep.
But that new system does look pretty intriguing.
It does. It does. It's making me want to buy Injustice 2, which is also on sale right now on Steam. But I just can't bring myself to buy Injustice. And then I'm thinking, but if I play Injustice 2... even though I know the storyline, it's gonna be like watching the sequel without ever watching the original.
There's always a few snippets in there that you're not going to quite get.
Exactly.
But, I mean, that's what YouTube playthroughs are for. There are some other games that were announced. Resident Evil 7, which I know you're a big fan of the Resident Evil series as well.
I am, but I'm worried about this one because it looks like it's gone more down the road of... oh, what's the name of that game series? This is how much I dislike the game series. Remembering the name is really hard. Silent Hill.
Silent Hills, those are interesting.
Silent Hill is interesting, but Resident Evil is an entirely different game. Resident Evil became popular because it was you trying to survive against zombies and find your way through puzzles. Silent Hill is, find your way through puzzles, but for the most part, it's run for your freaking life, dude!
Yeah, I don't know much about the Silent Hill franchise. I know it is pretty in-depth and very atmospheric. I only know Pyramid Head and the very few little that I know from the Silent Hill movie, which
Yeah,
is made was very like kind of Saw-ish, but not so extreme. But it was
the
very entertaining.
the Silent Hill movie was so confusing. It just, having played the games it was based on, I was trying to figure out where they got any of the information from. It,
Okay, so
it
there
was
were.
just out
Go ahead.
there. It was out there. It was just completely out there. But that worries me about Resident Evil. I'm a big Resident Evil fan. I've played all of the Resident Evil games, even the freaking rail shooters. I've played every single Resident Evil game. Resident Evil 1 came out when I was in high school and I had a PlayStation. I've played all of them. Still to this
Yeah.
day, my favorite one is still Resident Evil 4 on the Wii because I like point and click shooting.
I've only ever played 5. I got really big into 5. Mr. Chris Biceps Redfield. Then I did play some 6 with my friend Jesse. 6 I thought was okay. I wasn't too big onto the whole pill system, but I really enjoyed 5 a lot.
Yeah, 6 was too much of a sausage fest.
It was, very much so.
The Resident Evil games are usually fairly balanced. I mean, the only one which hasn't been fairly balanced was Resident Evil 4, in which case you only had one character to really play. They did release some DLC, which allowed you to play some other characters, like, I've forgotten her name, the woman in the red dress. I'm useless with names. Don't worry about that. I'd forget my
I
own
just
name if I
remember
didn't
that
say it.
she's of Asian descent. I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of her name, and someone's going to probably call us out on it in the comments. That's fine.
Yeah, of Asian descent and with a slit so far up, I'm surprised you don't see her stomach on there instead.
Among other things.
Yeah.
Okay, there were some other games. Watch Dogs 2. I did play Watch Dogs 1. I was a little disappointed of the original Watch Dogs. I think for what it was, though, the game was pretty good. The sequel, I don't think, while the first game made a ton of money, I do think that Ubisoft is warranting a second game. That will probably either make or break the IP. So, I mean, I'm hopeful. Maybe they'll actually go back to the roots of what they originally envisioned and make it better.
Oh, maybe. It would be a surprise if any studio did a turnaround because, like we know, studios like to make money these days and don't care so much about making anything worth watching or playing.
Well, Ubisoft, they're my favorite game maker of Assassin's Creed. And they are taking a break on Assassin's Creed to release the Assassin's Creed movie, which I'm still up in the air about.
I'm going to give them their credit there because if Call of Duty was having a film made, there wouldn't be one, there wouldn't be two, there would be 3 Call of Duty games in the same year.
That would just be absolutely terrible.
They would capitalize on that like there is no tomorrow. So I'm going to give Ubisoft a break for that. They're like, we've got a film coming out, we don't need a game in the same year.
So here's probably the biggest heavy hitter. You know my feelings as being a Nintendo. I wouldn't say I'm exactly a big fan. I like the Legend of Zelda series, but I have not supported Nintendo since the GameCube. So the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Aren't they doing a remake of Majora's Mask as well?
They already did, but that was on the DS. This is for the Wii U, and apparently it's coming on the NX as well.
Yeah, well, you don't own a Wii U because you thought it was a waste of money, and you were right.
Pretty much. It's just, I don't like the tablet controller. I feel that it's still a last-gen console, and then it's even going to be more so with the Neo and the Scorpio coming out, and then the NX is probably going to be still a next-gen or meeting this kind of half-gen of the Xbox One and the PS4 base models. So it's just like, I don't know where Nintendo fits in all this anymore. If they didn't have their first party IPs, they would just be going the way of Sega right now.
But Sega had their first party IPs, which they still have. They just released them on other consoles. But anyway, going back to Nintendo's first party IPs, let's talk about a game series you detest with so much malice that...
Which one?
Pokemon.
Oh god. Shoot me now, please.
I can't. We're in a different place. But
It was
yes,
metaphorical.
Pokemon Go comes out July, so it's sometime after this video is released. You gonna give it a try? You gonna check it out?
Not even. Like, it has some interesting concepts, like something that they should have been doing a long time ago, but it's just not something for me.
Too little, too
And
late.
many, many years too late. I'm
Well,
saying well over a decade.
I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna try out my tablet's inbuilt recording ability. So there'll be videos to come on our gaming channel. Uh, but I'm gonna give it a try. Another game which is coming out, which is so heavily influenced by Disney, and you get annoyed by the character designs, even though that's because of Disney and not Enix themselves. Kingdom Hearts 3.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, it's
It's
also
just I can't stand how it's like the hype of this fan base is about as terrible, in my opinion, as the Final Fantasy series. Because you have, I think Disney themselves are a great company, other than the whole alligator, crocodile, whatever attack that was that you talked a little back earlier on the channel.
yeah.
But I mean, their studios, minus their games, like their movies, shows, usually are pretty great. I just don't like their influence on Square Enix.
Well,
Now.
Kingdom
I'm having a brain
Hearts
fart.
Kingdom Hearts 3 has been so long in the making. I mean, I played Kingdom Hearts 1. I loved that game. When I found out Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, I jumped on it and I bought it and I played it to death. It was like the PlayStation's version of Final Fantasy VII. It just pushed the boundaries of the system and the gaming genre. Then I found out that Nintendo had to jump on the bandwagon, and they have a card game, and they have a game which takes place between 1 and 2 and 2 and 3, and then there's other expansions. Then there was the international releases which had more stuff in, so then there were more releases, and then it's just like, oh, 10 years down the line, yeah, we're going to give you Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, I think that's mostly. I mean, it could be a little bit due to Disney, but Square Enix, I think, as almost anyone that's into the gaming community knows, they love to milk their franchises and they like to just make their fan base go nuts and just salivating.
But it wouldn't be so bad if Kingdom Hearts 3 came out within a reasonable time difference. I mean, I'm going to look this up right now. I forgot to look this up. But let's see when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out.
I would probably guess maybe 2002, 2003. I could be wrong.
2000 freaking 5. It's 2016. It's taken them 11 years to make a sequel to a game which they've had a story sequel for the last 11 years. They'd already planned it.
Well, the development hell is a thing, dude. The Last Guardian, that's been in development hell for 8 years, given Kingdom Hearts 3 is not, older than that. But still, it just keeps their consumer base just salivating for something, anything at all.
But they're skipping an entire console. We had 2 Kingdom Hearts games on the PlayStation 2, nothing on the PS3, except for the re-releases, and then on the PS4, we're gonna have Kingdom Hearts 3.
Well, all I have to say is that's Square Enix for you. There's not much else to say.
Yeah, and if they hadn't screwed up their plans for Final Fantasy VII, a PlayStation 4 would be on the top of my list of things to have for Final Fantasy VII, but I'm not buying 2, 3, 4 games broken down out of one. I pretty much expect it to probably be along the lines of Final Fantasy 13 at this point, that the first game, which you'll pay $60 for, will have about 20 hours worth of gameplay in it, and I'll do it all in one day, and I'm not wasting my money like that. I will buy it, but only when they finish releasing all the games and put them in a box set.
I think that's probably how a lot of people that aren't the hardcore fanboys will do as well. I don't care.
But I am a hardcore fanboy. I just cannot justify. At the moment, we've gone from 2 to 3 to 6 possible games. $60 a pop. That's $360.
Well, there are the people, more money than brains.
Yeah, I know. You're one of them sometimes. You can't argue. You cannot argue. You just spent $700 on a 1080X.
No, not a 1080X, just a normal GTX 1080.
A GTX 1080, and now you're going to get a 4K monitor, which recently YouTube have just started doing 4K videos as well. You and Turtle.
You're just jealous, admit it.
No, I'm not actually. I have no intention whatsoever of upgrading to 4K within the next 3 to 5 years. None
Well, it might be
whatsoever.
mainstream by then.
Exactly.
All right,
By
well,
then.
we're getting off topic. But anyways, I think we should probably wrap it up here. We do want to tell everyone, do have a happy 4th of July. Don't be stupid with the fireworks, please.
Please, nobody be stupid with fireworks, because enough crap happens in this world. We don't want anybody getting hurt.
Yeah, and hospital bills are very expensive.
They are if you live in America. If you live in Europe, not so much.
Touche. All right, we'll see you, everyone.
Well, ciao for now.